So the left is the Communist Party because 60 years ago anti-war protesters damaged some buildings. No, they did a lot more than damaged, and they said they were communists. Yeah. Let's just go through the history. So, see, part of the reason the civil rights was so important to the communists is because, well, we had stricter immigration laws. And because a bunch of people, came along and said America's racist and, we have to change the immigration laws. Well, that came with the civil rights, of course, with, JFK, MLK, all the civil rights crap. That really, in the end, in my opinion, what did it do for Black Americans? Because, again, these men cared more about they paid and fundraised with Hollywood to bring Black Africans here. Because it's that attitude that they were more better. But they used Black Americans because they wanted to create a race war that has just gone on inevitably to serve the Communist Democrat Party. But they changed immigration laws and changed those immigration laws to where more South American, more Latin Americans were coming here. And see, that was a problem. But they said, oh, no, you're being racist, America. No, it's because of after the Cold War. South America was sending young people, students, college-age kids, to Cuba in mass droves to get guerrilla warfare training in guerrilla tactics and psychological warfare. Plane after plane, it's in the JFK files. That was the reason Eisenhower had set up the Bay of Pigs, was to stop it. So then JFK gets in, MLK starts screaming, oh, civil rights, and lo and behold, the immigration laws changed to let a bunch of these assholes in. That then created groups like the Weather Underground. Now, Bill Ayers, of course, was born here. He was just some rich son of a bitch out of Glen Ellen, Illinois. I know the area very well. Yeah, very wealthy area, but his dad was some CEO of ComEd, something like that. But nope, he had to be some radical. I don't know. It's in the genes or something. But a bunch of others came in too. Then you got the Black Panthers, you got Black Liberation Army, you got a bunch of Islam groups. All then, we're a racist country. You're a racist country, America. We got to change your history and just keep telling you how racist you are. We're going to change your immigration laws so we can get more of our bad actors like us in that hate your country and just we don't care what skin color you are, we just want to overthrow your Constitution. But to act like there was just some damage done, aren't you guys the party that carried on in a nauseating degree about January 6th? Yeah, so do you want to know? Let me just show you everything the Weather Underground group did. And they got away with it. They hardly had to face any time. Why? Because, Democrats were running the show and the civil rights that we had to allow all this bullshit. I mean, these people were from your party. So I'm just shocked. I mean, known communists. I mean, Bill Ayers, this one, Bill Ayers and his sidekick, Bernardine Dorn, both went on to work in the universities. He ended his career at University of Illinois, Chicago. I never thought very highly of that place. Yeah, I experienced a lot of bad stuff and I never worked there, but because it's the biggest nursing contract for Illinois Nurses Association is there. Well, my first nursing job was a total nightmare because of a Illinois Nurses Association and just some really corrupted chief nursing officers, but that's, long time ago. Doesn't matter, but doesn't surprise me that they would put some radical in there Bobby Kennedy Jr. actually fought him getting some award at the end because University of Illinois Chicago was going to give him some award when he retired. many years ago, and Bobby Kennedy Jr. fought it because he actually he wrote a book and then dedicated it to Sirhan Sirhan, who killed Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s father. So these were communists. They weren't shy about it, okay? But it's your party that protected them. Okay? They were involved in explosives. Let's just go through the list so you understand they didn't just damage some property. They were involved in mass bombing campaigns. Yeah, bombing campaign targeting government buildings such as the United States Capitol in 71, the Pentagon in 72, the U.S. Department of State building in 75, and offices related to the California prison system and corrections commissioner in New York. These bombings were mostly preceded by warnings to avoid casualties, but caused extensive property damage. But that's not all. They conducted violent protests and riots, including Days of Rage in Chicago, where many people were hurt. They were involved in a violent jailbreak of Timothy Leary in 1970. On March 6, 1970, a bomb they were assembling accidentally exploded in Greenwich Village townhouse, killing 3 members. A 1970 bomb exploded in New York City Police Department headquarters. Some of the members later committed a 1981 armed robbery of a Brinks armored truck, which resulted in a shootout, killing 2 police officers and 1 Brinks guards. This was associated with the splinter group May 19th Communist Organizations, formed by former Weatherground members. Various other bombings targeted police stations, military bases, banks, corporate offices, often as protesters protested against the Vietnam War. That's a little bit more than just damaging property, okay? But again, it's your side that carried on to a nauseating degree about January 6th. And yet, this is your party. This was the Democrat Party. I mean, Bill Ayers doesn't even regret it. But that's protest. See, the left is allowed to protest violently that way. But see, this is why you hated J. Edgar Hoover. Because he saw what all of you were doing. So, yeah, no, they were. Bill Ayers is a known communist. I mean, he's not subtle about it. He's not. He's a big fan of Fidel Castro. He outright says, I mean, he wrote a book, and on the cover of it, he's actually standing on the American flag. He hates America. Yeah, I wish he would just move the fuck out of America and go to a communist country. I mean, his rich, spoiled ass maybe would learn something if he actually lived in a communist country. Little pampered boy. So yeah, that's this Democrat Party here. And then he went on to, I mean, the Obama presidential campaign was pretty much laid out in Bernardine Dorn and Bill Ayers in their home in Chicago. What was it? Where are they? The Hyde Park area, I believe, or some ritzy area. And then Obama just tried to claim, oh, no, we just passed each other in the neighborhood. No, they didn't. There's tons of pictures of the two of them together. Yeah, Obama, who was about hope and change, which was just, bullshit. And he was about the destruction and bringing in more communism because, well, I mean, Bill Ayers at one point said that he wrote Memoirs of My Father. That's the book about Obama's dad. But then he's retracted that. This is all your party. So if you think that's just no big deal, well, that explains a whole lot. But don't act like you're Americans. Communists are not American-loving people, just like Democrats aren't. Same thing.